What's up, guys? This is Ricky V, and today we have another interview with Mr. Dylan Gemelli. This time we go a little bit more into his life, and then we do some more of the cycle protocol stuff that you guys all like. So here's the second interview with Dylan Gemelli, and this is part one. This is another long two-part interview you guys are going to want to listen to. So without further ado,
all right.
So what's the procedure? You go in and grab ice. What do you ice it down, or do you put cold and hot packs on it? How do you deal with this ankle?
Well, right now I've got the cold pack on it, and after I have treatments, then I'll go cold then hot, right? But it's funny because, like I was saying, I go to my chiropractor for this, but he hooks me up to he gives me like the infrared rub on it first, and then the E-stem machine and all of that, like you get at the sports medicine clinic. So he's cool as shit, and he does extra things for me and different treatments if I need it, aside from just adjusting my back. So it's nice. It's real nice.
Cool. So do you switch off hot and cold, or do you figured out cold is the best way to go with it for you?
You know what? On these injuries, because every injury is different, but on these, I find the cold is a lot better for me than the heat. Doesn't really do a lot on this particular injury. Now, some injuries I've had the heat definitely, but not this. This is like, it's like I was saying, my tendons and my ligaments, they turn into like fucking guitar strings, and they like, I'm swollen now because there's like a knot in my muscle and like the tendons and stuff, and they have to get the knot. Is this
wear and tear, or was there a time and a place when you got hurt and this has been bothering you since?
I think it's just wear and tear, man. I now my other ankle, this is my left one bothering me. My right one, I tore every last ligament in it. I mean, they told me it would have been far better off breaking it. But I told you I played college basketball.
Yep,
I was going for a loose ball, and I don't know what happened, but I took a bad step and my ankle went to the fucking floor. I mean, it was bad, man. It was real bad. Yeah. I had to go to the orthopedic the next day, and at that time, like I was, I don't know, 21. My parents they couldn't take me that day. I fucking crawled through the skywalk system, because there's a nice skywalk system downtown to get around the buildings. I had to crawl and hop. I couldn't put no weight on it. It was bad. Well, here, I'll tell you a story real quick.
So wait, let me ask you about this ankle real quick. I don't mean to drift you off, but
no, go ahead.
So what was the procedure? You went there, they iced it down, and then you had to do therapy afterwards for a while, or did they put everything back into place? How do they handle it? Because I had a similar injury.
Oh, this injury that I was saying when I tore the ligaments?
Yeah.
Man, that was like, here's a couple bottles of Percocet, and they basically told me to just completely stay off. I mean, I had to stay off it a long time, bro. My whole leg all the way halfway up was purple, and I had to wear a boot, one of those stabilizer boots. And I had crutches for a couple weeks first, then transferred into that boot. And I set myself back when I told you I was going to tell you a story. I set myself back on that injury because my 21st birthday was a week away, and my parents booked a trip to Las Vegas. And Vegas well enough. You walk everywhere on the strip, right?
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
So you imagine this. 1 week from that injury, all I had was 2 bottles of Percocets and a lot of fucking alcohol. And I had to walk everywhere in Vegas with that boot on. And I wasn't even supposed to be in the boot. I was still supposed to be on crutches. So I think that set me back a couple months at least on rehab. That trip. Damn. That was 4 days. Yeah, at least.
I very rarely do I get injured when I'm warmed up, when I'm sparring, when I'm doing stuff. But you know what? I've gotten injured when I'm cold, when things are just like, I had a similar injury during a move. I took a misstep down these steps, and my foot twisted in, and everything bunched up. I mean, it swelled up really nasty. I mean, it was purple. When I got x-rays, everything in there was all messed up. And doc said, look, you're going to have to just stay off the foot, wait until it swelling goes down, and then just go to therapy, for X amount of time. You'll be in therapy and you'll walk right again. So that's kind of the idea was let the swelling come down, and then you go and you roll, a Coke bottle under your foot for fucking weeks until you're able to kind of
Yep.
walk, right? That's the idea, right?
Yep.
But see, if we're from a, I just got here. We're from a little different culture, right? So someone I trust well says, why don't you go to this guy who massages the soccer players? He'll have you right. And I go, really? He's like, yeah, man, he's a fucking massage guy. So you got to show up there at 6 a.m. No appointments. You got to show up there at 6 a.m. You got to be first in line. And the guy comes in like around 7. Come in, you're in order by who arrives there. This is a house he does this at. He goes into a room, he puts stuff on, he actually prays in there. And then he puts you on the table. He basically, what he did is I laid me down on the table, face down, and he grabbed my foot. He grabbed my ankle. He grabbed like my ankle where your Achilles tendon is, right? That spot up there with one hand. And then he grabbed my toes with the other hand. And then he just made my foot do the circular motion. Just a circular motion that you should be able to do with your foot right now. Just make a circle with the tip of your toe. And obviously, because everything in there was all fucked up, my foot didn't want to do it. So he had to force it. It made all kinds of fucking sounds, crack, 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 crack. And then he finally got my foot. He finally got it to where my toe, my big toe, could do a full circle. It was incredibly painful. During the middle of this thing, I was about to say, look, I'll just walk crooked the rest of my life. Just cut it out. Just stop. Like, I'm kind of done, bro. But man, no, he had like this old fat wife, right? She's like sitting on my back. I'm serious. Like this dude from El Salvador. And he did that. He just made sure that my toe could do the circular motion. Then he wrapped it up and said, no crutches, because I went in there in crutches. He said, no crutches. You keep hanging your foot up like that. It'll fall out of place again. No crutches. Just put weight on it and walk really slow. No crutches. Walk really slow on it. And he made me walk out of there. I went in there in crutches, bro, my foot hanging, walked out of there really slow. You believe that shit? And then once the swelling went down, I was fine. There was no more therapy, no more. There wasn't rolling a Coke bottle under my foot. It was fucking done. Once the swelling went down, it was over with. I was walking fine again. It's incredible, right?
Wow, man. I love it.
See, I'm interviewing you and I told you a good story. So
no shit. I'm all about it. I want to hear this. I love it.
So one thing you and I were talking about was your so you have the gym there in Iowa, correct? You have a franchise gym that you're kind of moving out of or closing that chapter up. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep, that's it. I'm working on it anyway, but yes, we franchised the gym from a close friend of mine. He's got several. He started his first one in 2010, and so we moved back to Iowa in 2018, and just kind of I got to the point where it was like I want to go back there. I want a big yard. I want a different kind of life now instead of all these big cities and these fucking houses on top of each other, et cetera. So when we came back, part of the reason we came back was to franchise this gym. And what ended up happening was we were looking at certain cities. Well, the city that we chose happens to be the fastest growing city in the state of Iowa now, and we were able to get in there. Now, I spent a year and a half getting dicked around and having deal after deal fall through. I don't know. Are you into any sort of commercial real estate at all, or?
Know a little bit about it, not much. Haven't opened the gym like you have, of course.
Well, I'm used to regular real estate. My mom was a fucking realtor for 30 years, and my dad was an appraiser. And then as I got older, I started doing the home loan. So I know real estate inside and out, but I did not know commercial well. And it is really
different rules.
Different rules, man. Whole different ball game. And we got, deal after deal after deal. So I said, and I blamed part of that on my realty company and the realtors, because they were like, can't deliver, don't know how to close. I'm a fucking closer, right? And they weren't. So I told Queenie, you know what, fuck this, I'm doing it myself. So what I did was go find my own friends that were builders, convinced them to build me a $2.5 million building and lease it to me with an option to buy later, because I clearly can't buy it now, you know. And so that's what happened. So I basically had this built from the ground up instead of, you know, renting and leasing a building. This was my baby ground up.
That's a lot
So
of work, and that's a good move to make that deal happen. To put the
yeah,
people together that would want to go through it. That's incredible. It's a good job.
it wasn't easy. And, you know, me and Queenie built it from the ground up. So I take a lot of pride in that aspect of it. I really do.
Yeah, yeah, I bet.
You know, it's just,
And
it
you built it part of it during the lockdowns and COVID, right? Part of the building caught up with you then.
so here's what happened. They were building this through the winter, right? And COVID hit. When was it? For us, where they started locking shit down, it was like the end of March or
Yep,
middle
yep,
of
yep.
March or whatever. We were 10 days from opening when they shut everything down. Okay. So thankfully, I hadn't taken the keys to the gym or actually signed the official lease yet. So I didn't get hit with rent or anything of the sort. I hadn't officially taken possession. Plus, these are my friends. They weren't going to fuck me anyway. So we opened July 1st, which was basically when they started opening back up the, you know, everything, the gyms and stuff here. I know a lot of people had a long time where they were suffering. It was only a couple months here. Um, I live in a red state too, so you know they're more open to no mask, no this, no that, that type of shit. Um, so yeah, we opened basically July 1st. We opened in the middle, like heart of the pandemic. So it couldn't have been a worse scenario to get a business started and going, you know. In my lease, I worked out my first 2 months of rent free. So that, and then you basically what happens is they it's a 10-year lease on the building, and then they take that extra 2 months and slap it on the back end and give you 2 months free, is basically how it goes.
All
So
right, gotcha.
I
Yeah.
was, you know, I was able to build up a little bit of money going into it and bank that, because it would have been tough, man, you know, starting with zero. Because you open a business like that, you have to be able to have the fun. It's a lot of funds, you know that. I
Yeah, for
mean, I'm
sure,
not,
for sure.
yeah,
It's a big commitment.
yeah, you got to buy the equipment, you got to do this, you got to do that. I mean, before you know it, it's like, holy fucking shit, what just happened here, you know?
Now, was the franchise that you have one of these newer business models, which is the fitness studio, where people don't just sign up and come in and do their thing, but you actually are trying to get people to let you guys put together programs for them, pay additional for coaching and privates and things like that. Correct? Like the newer kind of fitness studios.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It costs a lot more to belong there, but this is not it's group fitness training, but it's not the group fitness I think that one would assume, because you know, if you sign up at your regular gym like in Vegas, LVA, Las Vegas Athletic Club, you know, or
What I used to go. Yeah, that's where I used to go.
yes, the best 24-hour fitness, Prairie or Lifetime, one of those, they have their group fitness classes in there, but you know, those are half-ass and they're not
I
real
miss my
hands-on.
24-hour gyms, man. Oh, I so miss the 24-hour
Do
gym.
you really?
There were some times where I couldn't get sleep, or it was just a long day and I was real frustrated. And I love going to the gym at 2 a.m. and just hitting the bag until I was tired and go home and go to bed.
Okay, I was confused. I thought you meant with 24-hour fitness, like the
No, no, I mean
gym.
just having availability 24 hours,
Oh,
because ever since COVID, I haven't, none of my gyms that I've been to, not in Vegas or in New York, are open 24 hours like they used to. And that used to be really convenient, have just being able to go to the gym at wherever time. You know what I mean? It's just great.
do you remember when I first moved to Vegas? Like, I think it was what, 2012, probably. But you remember, because you know,
Yeah.
we went to the Olympia and everything. So
Yep.
I remember that LVAC, and the first time my day was so fucked up that I couldn't go to the gym. It was like 2:30 in the morning. And Queenie hadn't moved to Vegas yet. She was waiting for her job to transfer from Maui. And I remember calling her that late. And I said, okay, I'm heading to the gym. And she's like, what? You know, it was like 2:33 in the morning. I said, yeah, I didn't get in there today. I can't. So I know what you're saying. I love that option. It just sucks right now because I don't see anything 24 hours anywhere right now.
Bro, I've
at
been in
all.
the sauna at 2 a.m. at some gyms, man.
Yeah, it's great, man. I love
I
that
can
shit.
see at 2 a.m. in the sauna, just like, oh, I can't believe these motherfucking manufacturers are late again. Fuck. You know, just steaming, just blowing steam at 2 a.m. So that I miss. I miss, I miss using the gym as a second kind of bathroom. Like I used to go there and like take my good shower for the day, have all my soaps and all my shit.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was just a good. Now you can't do that anymore, man. Everything changed.
No,
It's so fucked up.
I know. You know, the thing that and I'm not going to get into this too much, but it's like, so what? You know, when stuff would close early and things during the pandemic, I used to always ask Queenie, I go, what the fuck? I said, so you're telling me after 9 o'clock, the virus just gets worse? You know what I mean? Like, it's like fucking Dracula or something going on here. I mean, the shit that gone on, I'm just, I'll leave it alone, but that doesn't make sense to me for stuff to not be open, you know?
It's what I love about places like New York and Vegas is that 24-hour kind of around the clock availability because, I business owner work from home most of the time and
Yeah.
sometimes you change your schedule up. Sometimes I might go 2 weeks where I only sleep 3-4 hours a night. I'm just that anxious about a project or waiting for the outcome of something. And it's good to just have things opened all the time. Like I really,
Yes.
really enjoy that. And ever since, I mean, they got taken away from us, man. So so you're moving on from the gym. You're getting the fuck out of there. What kind of brought that decision about, and what is the next move for Mr. Dylan Gemelli now that you're closing up shop in the gym and you're going through the sale of it now, correct?
We're working on it. I mean, we've had some flaky things happen lately that I'm kind of not happy about in terms of uh, the loan not going through or the bank approval is not. But there's a ton of interest, so I don't think we're gonna have trouble. But you know how those size transactions, people are so fucking flaky, man.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So you've had the gym. Has anybody recognized you from your following on YouTube? Has anybody said, "Hey, Dylan, you got some SARMs from any of you members at the gym?" Or have you? I mean, how's that been like?
You know, I make it pretty clear to people not to ask me for shit like that. I don't sell those. I recommend you where to go buy them, you know, but people do ask me, and I've had people in the gym that have either seen my YouTube before or after they, join the gym, and everybody looks everybody's fucking name up anymore. That's
Of
just what
course.
people
Oh yeah,
do.
everybody does that. Of course, yeah.
So, and I guess I don't really do that. And so it always catches me off, but I realize that most people do that.
Yeah.
So,
So they
I haven't.
so the people going to the gym will sometimes recognize. I mean, what kind of crowd was going to your gym? If it's a fitness studio, I'm thinking it's probably just like soccer moms and dad bots, right?
You know what, man? See, the thing is this particular gym has gotten so popular here. Like, okay, in next month we're having a kids thing, for 6 weeks, and there's a lot of athletes in high school and college come in there to train as well, just getting ready for their sports or in between seasons. And it's not, yes, what you're saying is correct, that's the majority, but there's probably, it would probably catch you off guard if you sat there and saw some of the different types of people that do come in there. We take everybody. I want, how it is. You always like new people so you can mold them and teach them, and
Very rewarding to see somebody make their gain, somebody lose fat.
Man,
Yeah,
big
somebody
time.
a lot of people trying to get ready for weddings and special events, graduations. It's always cool to help somebody get there and teach them the skills to do it over and over again. Yeah.
Yes, we take a lot of pride in those transformations, and the name says in our name, Transformation Center, and we have the things up everywhere, and you can see it on Facebook. It's amazing. I mean, the transformations that you see when you're seeing it in person. It's different than when you're seeing somebody online.
I've seen the pictures on your social. Yeah, I follow you guys.
Yes. And you know what the in-body machine is, don't you? I mean, I'm sure you do. Would
Yeah, the one you
I
stand on with the handles and shit for
yes, yeah.
position. Yeah.
So anybody that's listening now that doesn't know what that is, I mean, that is basically supposedly supposed to be the next best thing to test your body fat, other than the going underwater and the hydrostatic and all that, right? So this is supposedly, I mean, this is not quite a $10,000 piece of equipment, but almost.
Getting there.
Yeah, it's up there. It's not cheap. And, it does your body fat. I mean, we do this huge printout for everybody. It's 2 pages. And, we measure that. And when I see people dropping like 15, 20% body fat, that's fucking sweet. I mean, that's badass to see that. Now, granted, people come in and they're brand new, or they've let themselves go or whatever, so they can lose that. But to see them do it and watch them, and to see the health grow, the glow, the happiness, the joy, you see it, man, and you feel it in person. I coached a ton of people online, and that's the best feeling. I save all those emails for years, but seeing it in person is different, man. It's different.
Now, Dylan, imagine the machine, imagine the fitness center, but it's not in Iowa, somewhere outside of the US. People can fly in, get their cycles done, get their SARMS, get their blood work. We should make this happen, bro. Get all their shit, be like steroid camp.
Oh man, would that be a dream?
Yeah, they do something like that in Kuwait now, to Oxygen Gym and stuff. You just go there, focus on training, get your bloods, get your body fat tested, get your cycle up.
Any place that was actually legal, we could go there and name recognition and whatever. I bet you we could make millions, just millions.
We'll be recording the podcast from there, saying, hey,
yes.
You know how, remember UFC had Fight Island? We'll have Steroid Island. we'll let people fight in and stuff. Well, we gotta let's do this. Let's figure out what would be a good friendly country to do this. Not too far,
dude. If that existed and it was totally cool, and I know I wasn't getting in trouble, I would be there tomorrow.
That'd be kind of fun, man. We get thought about something like that. Yeah, I think they do something similar to that in Kuwait, and there's some places like you go in Colombia, even Medellin, Bogota, where you could train.
I'd be fine with Colombia, but let's stay out of the Middle East, brother.
But a little too far, right? Yeah. Well, you should come down to Colombia. Colombia's a good time, man.
I would love to.
Colombia's really, really good. You gotta wait until the wife goes visit the relatives or something. Just come down.
Yeah, she's gonna go see her son in Japan at some time. So then I'm not going.
Don't let her listen to this podcast though. Have her skip this. Have her skip this one. And yeah, man, it'd be good. How long you been married for now?
We've been married since July of 2015, but we've been together since 2012.
2012.
So yeah. Cool.
So yeah, it's a good. You guys got together as adults. Usually works out way better like that.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I know that a lot of, if you see her, she doesn't look older than me, but she is 5 years older than me actually. But she never drank, never smoked, none of that. So she is, and she's Asian, so she's got everything going for her.
I'm about to say something at the danger of getting canceled, but fuck it. Asians age well. I mean, that's just the reality. Asians age well.
Fucking fact, bro. It's a fucking fact. I mean, I've watched it. Not only do I have a ton of Asian friends, but I have a fucking Asian wife. So I see it, daily. That's 100% fact. And she would walk in here and tell you that's a fact.
Yeah. They do. They age well. So is she like, is she still very much like very culturally a lot like she is from her home country, or is she more like Americanized, would you say?
Well, after living with me for this long, she talks like me. She thinks like me. I mean,
but you mean for women women have a different way of treating their hubbies.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, she is absolute gold. And when I'm more like platinum, I can't say.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, man. I know exactly.
and she's from the Philippines, so Filipino culture. So they, they're taught different. They just go about it different. I'm not good or
They
bad.
really do go about treating their husbands differently, for sure, for sure.
They do. And you know what, man? Like the older I've gotten, I've learned to always admit when I'm wrong and whatever. And she is the complete and utter opposite of me in terms of like, she's more kind of proper, more this, and I'm just like cuss a lot. I bend the rules. I don't break them, but I'll bend. That type of shit. Push it, but don't push it too
Yep.
far. Where she's just like, don't do that.
Yep.
But it's
Yep.
good for me. It's like a breath of fresh air because it's like my conscience says these things to me, but I fight it. But then the person's saying it to me at the same time. So then I've calmed down. Like I've gone from a 10 to a 3. It's good. And it's helped a lot.
Yeah, when somebody's personality matches up with your own, you kind of tend to, if you like you were saying, you have that high energy. She helps you calm down. It tends to happen that way. Is she the first Asian girl you've dated, or do you have a Asian?
No, I had in the past, but not like her.
Ever lived with a chick before her?
No.
This is the first one you lived with.
Yeah, I mean, I've done weekends and like weeks at a time, but never like full term. No. I was, brother. We'll leave.
I'll tell you what,
alone,
man.
But
Asian women keep a nice house, know how to keep a happy husband, man. They really do.
Hey,
they're devoted.
She has a full day once a week, and it's dedicated to nothing but cleaning the fucking house. And I mean, top to bottom. And that's on her. She wants to do it. I've offered to have people do it, whatever. And she's not.
No, they bring the bad
it.
energy. Yeah, people bring that bad energy. She's got to do it herself. Keep that good energy in her house on her own. That's the culture. That's it.
Man, I'm telling you,
it's great, isn't it?
It is. Hey, so
I've gravitated towards dating, Colombian women mostly because I do like some of like that back home culture, that old school culture.
Yes.
I like that. I like that shit. The at least Colombian women, they're when they got you, they're always trying to keep you, or worried that you might stray or that you might look elsewhere if they're not at their best with you. At least that's kind of what the culture teaches. And it motivates you as a man to perform more for them and be better for them. Maybe some women listening might say, oh, you want women to be, you're chauvinistic. No, when you see your lady trying to please you that way and trying to do all of that for you, man, it motivates you to step the fuck up and like be something for her in return too. And it becomes something very reciprocal, something really, I mean, I don't know, it motivates you when you see her kind of, she's trying to keep a good home for her man, kind of, right? That shit is cool, isn't it?
Bro, I literally, that's 1,000,000% spot on. It's a guarantee. Because I'll sometimes I'll go to bed and think, man, I said something shitty to her. I said something, or I was short or whatever, and it bothers me. And I never want to do I've never been like this before, where anytime I do anything that I feel is even questionable, I feel like the biggest piece of shit, and I do whatever I can to fix it. I always want to try to make sure that she's just laughing every day. People say, oh, I want to make you happy. No, I'm trying to make you laugh, make you feel some joy, not just make you happy. I mean, I really make an effort every day. I never go to bed without telling her I love her, not once, even if we're arguing or have gotten into it. I get over stuff in 5 or 10 minutes. I'm not one of those. I mean, and it's because of her. You know what I mean? She made me that way, not forced me, but that's what I wanted to become, because I was never that way. Not like this, so
yeah, I think we probably better change subjects, man. You're gonna have a bunch of guys divorcing their wives trying to find a wife or something. But no, I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, it's just a different culture, and some of us that are built that way to be reciprocal. When you see your girl trying to do all of that for you, that's it clicks right in. It clicks because I'm kind of the same way too. If I say the wrong thing or if I overreact to something, and she's still being loving, she's still being caring, towards me, I feel like shit. And now I got to
Yeah.
come back and say something. And it's kind of like, you know, the culture kind of teaches that, to have that kind of harmony. And if your significant other overreacts, you don't have to be quick to defend yourself and let them know how you feel about it. Just show the fuck out and let them simmer on that for a minute. Let them think about that shit. And you know, guys like us, we simmer on it. We think about it like, it's kind of fucked up. I should have said it that way. I shouldn't have done it that way. I should have done it. Then you come back and you know, it'd be a different dynamic if she feels as though like, hey, he's got a bad temper. He said something in a way he shouldn't have. I need to just now explain to him exactly the way I felt, and he needs to hear me. You know, then it changes the dynamic of things. They don't give you a chance to feel like shit and come back and apologize. Now it becomes a it becomes a conversation about you know, proper ways of dealing with your feelings and bullshit like that. And sometimes it's just cool to just shut the fuck up and let things kind of ride out and see what happens, right? And
Oh yeah.
and they, I don't know, these some of these girls from the Philippines, from, you know, South America, they just some of them know how to do that. Not all of them, but some of them, most of them know how to do that at least.
I'm with you, man. 100%. We're talking the same language.
So let's get on some more anabolic talk here, because I'm sure
Yeah.
we're going around talking about gyms, talking about women. So SARMS, man. So me and Steve did a whole show on SARMs and different I should say different performance enhancing drugs, and what kind of cycle you would give to someone who's a beginner, who's an intermediate, or who's an advanced guy for either cutting, bulking, or recomp. So now that I got you here on this podcast, I wanted to have you go through it with me. I'll lead you along the way. So basically, your cycle. We ended up starting off with just doing 1 compound, then 2, then 3. Just say, let's do 3 compounds. So let's say 3 compound cycle. All right. It could be SARMs, could be steroids, peptides, whatever. For a beginner guy trying to cut, for a more intermediate guy who's done a few cycles, been in the game for a while, trying to cut, and someone who's just very advanced, maybe someone who might have been to a couple of shows, couple of competitions, somebody who's at that level. What would you think cutting cycle, just 3 compounds when limited to 3 things? Doesn't count auxiliaries. You got to throw some Novadex, some Moromycin. It doesn't count. We're only talking about PEDs. What would be
Right.
three stack for each of those guys? I'll lead you along the way with the other ones.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, let's just say for a beginner, they're like 28, 29 years old, right? And we're just trying to get them cutting. They never ran anything. I know some people are not going to like this and some people are going to love it, but I generally, unless somebody's wanting to go super hardcore to jump, I think it's smart. I mean, you want longevity here. You don't want to just blast as many steroids as you can right off the bat. So I always like people to start with SARMs first and then get your feet wet, get used to some mild suppression and some small side effects, nothing crazy. Get going, then that's going to propel you to get to a little bit better condition at a more rapid, accelerated rate, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to. And then go into it after you've already had a little bit of enhancement, then go into a anabolic cycle, right? There's no motive there other than getting you in the right direction and easing into it, because it's not a race. This is not any sort of sprint. This is a lifelong marathon we're trying to do here, right? So there's no rush. So for cutting and an initial stack, I generally either go the original SARMs triple stack, Cardarine, GW, S4, and Osterin, MK2866. Now, if we want to just cut, I'll drop the Osterin and pop in SR 9009, and there you go. There's 3 compounds per cycle. Boom.
Quick question. I don't mean to confuse you real quick, but S4. All right, guys. So that was part 1 of the second Dylan Gemelli interview. Join us next week for part 2 of the second Dylan Gemelli interview, where we go more into SARMs, steroids, and some of the stuff that you guys want to hear. See you here next week.